Okay, so the film is based on a true story. Can you tell us a little bit about the story that it's based on?
Yes, of course. Well, there is more than one true story, to be sincere, because one story I read, it was about a professor teaching in the University of Florence, whose wife got ill of Alzheimer. And every day, as our main character, he went to the hospital to take care of her. And all the doctors told to him, so you can also stay at home because she cannot recognize you. She cannot remember about you. So you can stay at home and feel, you can have a rest. And he told to them, but I remember about her. So this is the main story from which I started to write the story. Then there is the story of my father, who died when I was 18, and not because of Alzheimer and other illness, but anyway, it was a very long illness, and I played the role of the main character for him. So I really was with him until the end, and it's very biographic by this point
Autobiographical.
Yeah, and then you know the scene in which they stole all the photos. It's real. It's a true story still because it happens to me in Rome. So in one day, I lost 1,000 of my photos and everything linked to my past.
I'm so sorry. I was hoping that part was fictional because that really bothered me when I saw that. I'm so sorry that happened to you. I was hoping that wasn't real, actually, because I thought it was based on a true story. I said, well, I hope this part is just for the film.
Yeah, so these are the main three stories I start from. Then everything I shoot in a film, also that I write, it's always based on true story. I mean, it's my way of telling stories in a way.
So I interviewed you in 2017 when you presented your film Offline at the Cannes Film Festival. That film was also about people communicating with each other. But in this age of selfies, so much interaction is being done, virtually. So this film also spoke about people communicating, but in the way of yesterday, with photos and answering machines. But they also touched on the new age, with the selfie and the digital camera. So can you speak to me about your interest in exploring communication in your films?
Yes, it's a main theme that I'm exploring since my first short film, and now I'm also still exploring this theme also in my next project. That's so much important to me in this historical period to deal with that, and with the consequence of this kind of communication. So here, instead of my previous short film, Offline, that was about the lack of communication, even if there was bulimia of communication in that film, but they didn't know who they really know the other part, okay? In this short film, instead, it's I try to tell about another kind of relationship, a very old style relationship, which began when they were very young and continue until the end. And in the period of the illness of the wife of the main character, is trying to stop memories, to stop everything, to keep memories through photography, because he is a photographer. And then he is trying also to pass to the digital, and so the digital communication, the digital way of stop the time also in a way, and keep the time in a way, but everything will be stolen before by the illness, and then because of the real stole. No, because my
Robbery.
English is robbery. Thank you. So correct me because my English is really terrible.
No, it's great. It's great.
No,
It's
most
better
of
than my
all, at the end
Italian.
of the on Friday afternoon, it's very difficult to me.
No. It's excellent. Trust me. So, also with these two films, I noticed that you give the perspective, the point of view of people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and now, you know, elderly 70s. How, and you do it very well. How are you able to, I just want some insight into how you're able to portray these different points of view so well. Do you do research? Do you interview people? Or do you just have that, you know, innate sense of, you know, what people are feeling?
Well, I think I am very old inside, first of all. So also when I was younger, I was really very old inside because of my first 20 years old. That was very, very hard. So I had to grow up very, very fast. I had to be a woman in a week. And then after, I started to become another time a child in a way. So I passes through a generation inside of me, in my life. So most of all is my experience, of course, because really when they ask me about this short film, they think that it's a story about other person I interview or something like that. Of course, it's based of also other true stories, but really it's what I felt with my father's illness and what I lived being with him until the death. So this is the fact. And also, otherwise, there is a very long and important work of research in my job, doing through interviews, through meeting people, meeting doctor. For example, in this case, for the short film, I also met the head of the Italian Association for Alzheimer. And I spoke a lot with him, and I also shared the script with him to check every point of the script, you know, to be really authentic and believable in every part, and to be respectful of this kind of illness. And so the part of the research is so important for me, and in every kind of job I do, this is the fact. So many times I go in the location where, for example, in this case, there is the people with this illness, so in the hospital. So I studied the movements, I study the atmosphere, everything.
I can understand now, you tell me that a lot of this was based on your own experience, you know, having to grow up at a very young age and then kind of returning to a child. That's really apparent in your work. So it's really reflective, you know, it's reflected in your work. So you make an appearance in this film as the nurse, and you've also acted in some of your other films. So tell me your experience. What is it like to direct yourself? And do you prefer one or the other? Do you prefer acting to directing or vice versa?
Okay, to be sincere, well, I was born as an actress, and I started as an actress, and I feel always that I'm an actress, even if I don't act always, but for me it's the same. It's always my point of start in a way. And for me, it's very biological in a way, organic to be in front and behind the camera, and also direct my colleagues from inside the scene. It's very natural for me. I mean, because I study as an actress, I love actors, I know how to direct them because I know what works with me. I mean, and so really for me, you know, when I direct actors in my short films, I feel like they are my arms or my legs. It's the same, you know. And so it's a very precious moment for me. You know, when I am only behind the camera, the only difference for me is that I have not to make up. So this is very relaxing, to be sincere, but I love both. I love both acting and directing.